Good evening and welcome to the Radical SR8 Championship. Round 5 takes us to the Redbull Ring in Austria. I am Tom Cairns, the commentator this evening, alongside James Parfitt, who will take us for a ride around this fan favourite located in the Styrian Mountains of Spielberg. The format is different tonight. Instead of the usual 3 races we have on offer, it's just the one with the mandatory 1 pit stop rule to be enforced as well. So it's going to be quite different compared to what we normally see. But nevertheless, it'll be fun. I am sure of it. Matthew Richardson winning 2 races last week, the other one being won by Jack Veazey over at Summit Point 7 days ago. Will they build on that here? We shall see. Let's introduce James Parfitt into the booth and we'll get a word from him on how he thinks tonight is going to go. Mr. Parfitt, are you around?
I am, which is always good, I guess. Otherwise, you would have been left here on your own. But no, I am around it. I don't know how this is going to go, you know. I don't know if the shorter format suits these cars better. I'm not entirely sure how this one's going to work out, but it's going to be interesting, I think, either way, and I'm going to see how these guys get on. There is a mandatory stop. Now, whether or not they're able to do well with that stop, I think they've got to time it well because it is going to be an hours-long race. So I'm hoping that they all get it right and don't get it wrong there either. Black Enzo's in YouTube chat. Good evening, guys. Good evening, mate. How are you? Hope you are well. But yeah, I'm going to think this is going to be very interesting. Going to be keen to see who takes the victory.
We'll see soon enough. And hello to Black Enzo for myself personally as well. I hope you're having a good evening, having a good day, and of course had a good weekend. Hopefully you've been treating yourself rather nicely now that we're into March. And of course March is pretty important for the motorsports season with Formula 1 just around the corner. They begin obviously in Melbourne, Australia this weekend. But we focus our attention to what we see at a circuit which will host Formula 1 later this year. Here at the Redbull Ring, and of course it's as I've already mentioned, it's a fan favourite. The drivers love racing here, the fans love racing here, and of course both me and JP do as well. Luke Maxwell at the top of the timing pages at the moment. Each driver is allowed up to 4 qualifying laps. There are a few drivers who haven't posted times yet. Andy Pratt has just joined the session as we speak. He's hopefully going to get a time or so on the board. He wasn't involved in the practice session. Stefan Miller's joined with about 10 minutes remaining in the practice session to get some mileage in. He is out on circuit right now getting his laps in, so we may be able to perhaps go for a lap with him, just so that you have an idea as to how the circuit works. He's making his way towards Remus now on the brakes and rotating the car as the corner inclines. Down he comes towards Schlossgold, turn 4, otherwise known as, where he will most likely do the same things to what he did at Remus, only the fact is it's on a decline and you turn right as well. And you want to get a good traction using the outside curb. It can be the driver's best friend actually, the way you accelerate out of there to get the revs high enough to get all the momentum that you need. But he's completely overcooked turn 6, which won't help, and then he's got 4 more corners to get through, turn 7 and 8, where it's on an incline again. And then by the time he gets to the Jochen and the Red Bull Mobile, it declines once more before you head down the pit straight to the finish line.
Very short, sharp lap here. I think that's going to be the thing for these guys. Ben from California, apparently. I wonder if he's from California. I don't know. He's in YouTube chat as well. Says hi. Hi, Ben. Hope you're well, buddy. Are you from California, Ben, or you just called yourself that? Are you from Cali? You know what I mean? That would be, let us know whether or not you are or not, because that would be cool. But yeah, I think these guys are going to have a very interesting one. There's a couple of drivers who joined late. Stefan Mellis, Andy Pratt out on the racetrack at the moment, and James Coons is also out on track. Wonder how many track limits. Yeah, that's going to be, oh dude. Do you know what? Really, in conjunction, what they should do at every circuit, they should put a line round the white line of the circuit and pull it half a metre to the left, and that's it. Half a metre to the left or half a metre to the right, and say you've got an off track. This track is traditionally horrible for off tracks. I don't know if you know about it, Tom, but it is shocking. If you go over that curb on the right hand side there, just take that little bit of grass, that's a slow down, just to let you know as well. All right, so that's one of them here at the same time. You run a little bit wide at this corner. You're going to... Oh, no, you ain't, because bleating qualifying's over. You're going to get a slowdown as well. So off tracks, I believe... I agree Black Enzo is going to be a situation here, and I think these guys are going to have to deal with that situation. But the grid is on your screen very, very shortly. Why has he put a warm-up in the middle? John McHutchison, what have you done with this session? Oh, we got a 5-minute warm-up, apparently.
Well, it is a feature race after all, which is what we often see with these events. You probably forgot the fact that it's an endurance one. But
no, I thought it was an endurance one. But normally he goes longer practice, quali, and then goes straight into the race. I'm not quite sure why he's put the warm up there. To be blatantly issues, I do wonder if that's to cover Mike Bousson. But they have just forwarded the session as well past the warm up, so hopefully Mike will make it back in time. He did say technical issues, quick restart. So hopefully we will go into the grid. Yes, there you go.
Jack Vesey has got pole position ahead of Luke Maxwell, Mena de Graaf, the highest of the AMs in third place ahead of Matthew Richardson. Mike Bousson and Tyrus Vosberg are on row 3, followed by Paul Krupp and John Hutchison. Steve Webb and Scott Kostrich round out the top 10 ahead of Gert-Jan Polman and Gareth Newton. Ray Matthew and Stefan Mellis are on row number 7, followed by James Coombs and Andy Pratt, who didn't set lap times during quali.
What do we reckon? What's going to happen?
I'm interested to see how Mena de Graaf gets on, because he was impressive last week.
I agree.
Yep, but we'll see soon enough. I think the grid is formed, which means we're good to go here for the 60-minute endurance event here in the Radical SR8 Championship at the Redbull Ring. Lights are on. Lights off, and a lot of wheel spinning from the field. Mena de Graaf didn't get away very well at all, to be honest with you. Mike Bousson got the jump in, as did Matthew Richardson. But it is Luke Maxwell who leads the way, and there's contact further back. It looks like Mena de Graaf has got involved in it. We'll have a look at it in a moment. But it's Luke Maxwell who gets the start he wants ahead of Jack Vesey. And Mike Bousson is up to the third place, and there's a big gap behind to find Tyrus Vosberg in fourth place. He's got in front of Matthew Richardson, JP. Yeah,
it was Richardson, I believe, involved in that incident with Mena de Graaf as well. I think that was more of a push to pass than a pass there from Richardson. Not quite sure which way round that is. Nothing. The problem is because he didn't go all the way round, then nothing showed up on the screen to say that he's had an incident. So I'll try and find it, leave it with me, and we'll see what we can do. But yeah, Matthew Richardson, I think, may have been the main catalyst in that one, as him and Tyrus Vosberg battling in through the left-hander of Roush, coming down into Worth now as well. Vosberg sat in behind at the moment.
They come towards turn number 7. Vosberg in fourth position, and Richardson and Hutchison, who's made up a couple of positions from where he had started. But of course, the biggest loser of them all is Mena de Graaf, who started third. He's down to 14th position, ahead of Gareth Newton and Greg Matthew at the back. And Gert-Jan Polman is the highest of the AMs at the moment. He's running P7 overall before they head over the line to complete lap number 1. And so it's Maxwell who leads, though. This is a replay of the start.
Yeah, there's Richardson there in the orange and purple. And there's the incident with Menno. I don't know really which way round that was, to be blatantly honest. I think that's a bit of a rubbish camera angle. Let's see if we can find, there we go. Who closes the door and who? Oh, Menno comes across.
Yeah, he comes across, doesn't he? He doesn't leave Richardson enough room, so I'd be leaning more towards Mena de Graaf on that one. Someone else had just gone off the circuit on the exit, so it looks like Andy Pratt made a mistake and had gone off the circuit. Let's see what he did on the exit of the curb. Not a driver's best friend, that yellow sausage curb as well. And thankfully he didn't rejoin into the path of any of the other drivers. But Vosberg running in fourth position, having a better race of it so far. He hasn't exactly got his way this season, I would say, for Tyrus Vosberg, but so far here he has got it right. Got 2 positions from where he had started. Then you can see the timing tower for both the pros and the AMs. Maxwell leading ahead of Vesey and Bousson, Vosberg, Hutchison, Richardson, Crabb and Coombs. And in the AMs, as we see, Stefan Millis tumbled down the order. He's made a mistake on this lap. What has he managed to do? Well, he's got Andy Pratt to... That's not Andy Pratt, that's Gareth Newton, isn't it?
James Coombs, I think it was. That Coombs in the
either way.
Yeah, it's Coombs. And
it's
Millis.
Coombs.
Yeah, but Millis made a mistake there either way. Jack Vesey's just got himself a slowdown off the final corner. That's one of the things they are going to have to be careful of. Again, as Black Enzo says in YouTube chat, there is going to be off tracks aplenty, and I think this is going to be no different here either. It's going to be interesting for Vesey. He moves to the side. He knows he's got to get it off. He allows Bousson to go through. And now Jack Veazey's going to lose that place to Buson. He's going to have it there. Vosberg's got to slow down in behind him as well. He's going to have to coming into behind McHutchinson, which he will do going into this corner. So you can see Taurus Vosberg should get it off, both of them. Just about managed to get it off there as well. Paul Crabb sitting in 7th, 8th overall at the moment, 1 place behind our leader, Gert-Jan Polman, who is leading the AMs, but John McHutchison up 4 places, trying to make moves at the moment as the Flyers Scotsman.
These slowdowns are going to really dilute the racing. I can just envisage that the more we see it, the more it's going to really kill the racing in terms of the battling on circuit.
But that's the nature of the Redbull Ring. That's the problem. You can sneeze at a curb here and you get a slowdown, but you come through this one, through Worth, and you can take all the curb on the inside, like that. That's the misinterpretation of this circuit. It's horrible how they can just get this so wrong. Graham Matthews could go a lot further to the right-hand side, Andy Pratt can go a lot further, and Stefan Mellis can go a lot further, and they still won't get an off-track. But Matthew Richardson at the moment, Paul Crabb and Gert-Jan Polman battling away. Well, that's going to put Polman in the clutches of Kostrick as they head down into turn number 1.
Yeah, a huge dice going on involving Kostrich with Gert-Jan Polman to his left-hand side as they go into the Niki Lauda curve. And it looks like Polman may have the high ground on the exit using all the curb, which can help you in terms of acceleration. But it's down, well, up towards turn number 3, where I think Kostrich is going to have the inside line. But the nature of this corner, James, if you're on the outside line, you can use all the outside and the curb on the exit to help keep hold of the position. That demonstrates it there, where Polman is just able to gather a little bit of momentum on the exit. But Kostrich is going to have the inside for Schlossgold. Is he going to hold it out on the inside? Is it that curb you were mentioning earlier where you can get that slowdown if you go too far out to the right?
You go too far out to the right-hand side. So if you basically take the curb and the AstroTurf, or I'm going to presume it's AstroTurf or green concrete, whatever you want to call it, you can get a slowdown off the corner. It's horrible. This racetrack is one of the worst. Between this and Spa, they are the worst circuits for off-tracks. They are absolutely, politely, and I'm going to use this word very politely, despicable on off-tracks. It is bonkers.
I race and take note. Either way, Luke Maxwell posted a new fast lap on the previous tour. He's continuing to build at the margins, running about 1.3 seconds, and another new fast lap at the end of that one for him. But that's now been taken away by John Hudson. It's now into 3rd position behind his Redline teammates of Maxwell and Buson, with VC giving chase. But the gap seems to be getting bigger and bigger between each car at the head of the field. Yeah,
it's here that's really causing the issue. Gert-Jan Polman, Scotty Kostrick, James Coombs, Webb, Vosberg and Graf. That's the battle. The problem is they've got an hour at this. You can see there James Coombs just having a go up the inside of Andy Pratt. He wants to get on a bit again. Not Andy Pratt, Kostrick, sorry. Pratt's got to slow down further back. He's going to have to slow right down. That's going to allow Mellis the opportunity. Him and Kostrick at the moment are going to run down into the right hand of Schlossgold. And now it's going to be who's going to be battling on the wheels. It is going to be Coombs, and he's going to make it through on Scotty Kostrick. So James Coombs looking to recover up 7 places at the moment. Jack Veazey, a couple of slowdowns as hinders his way. He's dropped him into the clutches of this man, Matthew Richardson.
Yeah, Matthew Richardson is beginning to struggle now as well, because he was running towards like the front of the field before Conte had with Mena de Graaf at the beginning. And he's now behind Veazey in 5th position. Paul Crabb has made his way up to P6 as well, so he's having a stronger time of it. But I think the pit stops are going to play their own role in regards... Is it going to be the overcut, or is it the undercut that's going to be more effective, do you reckon?
I think on this circuit is going to... They've got to... Oh, big old slide from Richardson. They've got to pick what's going to be best for them. Now, if you're following... Say Richardson is just following VZ and he's following him for about 20 minutes, right? If I was Richardson, I would dive in. It's got to be done because you're stuck there. You can't go anywhere. You're both similar pace. You've got to go in. These guys are having a nice little battle here. James Coombs, Taurus Vosberg. Oh, there was Vosberg on the left-hand side there. Did he manage to keep it on track? He did end up losing the position to James Coombs, but Taurus Vosberg settles in. So it's using your brain. I think, you know, for the likes of James Coombs, if he can get to the front of the field within 20 minutes, then dive into the pit lane. You've done the hard work, go in and get it out, over and done with. but you've got to weigh up what's in and around you and what's making the difference and what's slowing you down. You know, the likes of Menno, who's down 9 places. This guy is obviously quick here. He's got to pick and choose his moment. If he can't clear Webb, but he can't clear Vosberg, Coombs, Kostrick and Pullman, look at going in, because they're only going to be holding each other up by fighting. So it's only going to benefit you in some sort of way anyway. So there's a lot to play. It's going to ebb and flow here. I think this is the thing. There's going to be a lot of indecision, and there's going to be a lot of people who may just turn around and go, I'm going to take this to the end of the fuel tank and then go in at the end no matter where I am.
I couldn't agree more. I think if you are stuck in the traffic, you need to change tack and actually go in, and that way you play your own game against your rivals. Because it's like a game of chess. It's like if someone plays a particular piece. I mean, I can't remember which pieces you move like to certain places because there are specific rules.
Yeah,
game of chess,
love
like
chess.
pawns, bishops. Yeah, you'd have to treat me to a game of it just to remind me of the rules of it a little bit because there's so much to consider with it. But what I'm going to allude to is the fact that you need to throw another spanner into the mix just to make them worry. You've got to make your competition worry about what you're going to be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest with you as well, this has nothing to do with racing, by the way. I'm not going to lie. Before I come on tonight, I was sat with my partner who's not very well at the moment, and I was sat there watching a program on Netflix called Queen of Chess. And it was about a 15-year-old girl who becomes a grandmaster at chess at the age of 15 from Hungary. Absolutely amazing program. I recommend anybody go and watch it. Queen of Chess. It's about Judith Polgar. Is a young 15-year-old Hungarian girl from the 90s. Absolutely amazing program. But you are right. This is the thing. You've got to do something unexpected if you're sat here. You know, if I was Coombs now and I could clear Pullman, and I knew I could clear Pullman because I'm quicker here or I'm quicker there or whatever it is, I'm wherever I am on track. Mike Hutchinson fastest lap on a race, by the way, 1:24.442. If Coombs can get Pullman, then I would set about on my way and see how far I can take the fuel tank and how close I can get to Paul Crabb. If he can't, oh, well, there you go. Saying that, Coach Pullman just made it easy.
Solves it.
Yeah, it just kills it. So if I was Coombs now, I'd be running away. I'd be like a rabbit in headlights, just running off as fast as I can.
If I was Coombs, I'd cut across a little bit and make Pullman slam on the brakes a little bit sooner, but he's done a little too deep.
Of it.
Yeah, he did. But he's allowed the inside to Pullman for the next corner. He's got to outbrake him here, Coombs, if he wants to keep hold of the position and pull away, because otherwise he's just going to end up losing time to the fellow pros who are fighting amongst themselves. He just about makes it. Just about made it. I didn't think he was going to do that, given the way Pullman was about to cut across on him, but Coombs is able to hold on, and he's got to pull away now from these. Yeah,
he did the right thing. He went in deep in Schlossgold. Now, there's a lot of corner there, and you can go in quite deep and still get rotation, and Coombs did that. He went in deep into Schlossgold. He used the extent of the corner, the right-hander, and he managed to clear Pullman. That gave him the inside for Rauschenwerth, and this is the reaping of his rewards. He should effectively, being a faster driver and a considerably higher IR than some of the guys in behind him, he should now pull away. But there's this little thing that we've got at racetracks, and they call it the draft. And the draft is strong, especially if Pullman can stay within about 3 tenths. The problem is for Pullman, he's not just pulling himself, he's pulling Kostrick, Vosberg, Webb and de Graaf. So there's a lot of things that Gert-Jan Pullman, although he's just got to sit there and go, I'm just going to follow him, there's a lot of things involved for Gert-Jan Pullman he's got to think about, because as you can see, Vosberg ain't hanging around, and he never normally does. His aggressive style is either absolutely amazing or it gets him absolutely in deep poo-poo each week. That's the problem with Taurus Vosberg's driving. So he's got to be aware of who's behind him.
Yeah, well, Vosberg has dispatched Scott Kostrich on this lap, and the next one we'll be going after is the man who's leading the pros, and that's Gert-Jan Pullman. If he gets by him, he can get on with his own pro race and go after the likes of Coombs and Crabb for now. How far are we away then from the first run of pit stops? Because we know these cars can do 25 minutes. From what we've seen in previous seasons, where it used to be 25 minutes for the last race of a round of this before we change it to 20. Is that the point where they should start to think about mandatory pit stops?
Well, the problem is they set the fuel tank to 100%. Now, obviously, I'm going to believe that they would have started with 100%, if they have, they can go for about a good 40 to 45 minutes, especially at a short circuit like this one. Now, I'm going to trust on the fact that that's what they've got. The problem is with having that, they can go quite a long while here as well. So, you know, there's games to play, there's thoughts to had. Me, I am rubbish at doing any fuel calculations whatsoever. I am actually completely shocking. You would not want me. I'm more of a Ferrari technical director. I get it wrong every single time. So it's easier just for me to run the fuel out. I run the fuel out, see where I am, and then go in. Obviously, if I'm getting held up, I might use my brain a little bit and start diving into pit lane. But other than that, Tom, I'm shocking. I could get a job at Ferrari and explain it all in crayons.
Fair days. Well, the drivers can make up their own minds as to when they'll decide to pit at some point. Whether that be 1 or 2 starts, well, that's anyone's guess at the moment. Because if you're at the back of the field, is it worth doing 2 stops? Because how long does it take to get a pit stop done with these machines?
You're looking at around about 30 to 36 seconds for pit lane, adding probably another 8 to 9 on there for the pit stop itself. So you're looking at a good probably 40 seconds. The problem is if you don't run the pit lane right the way down to the yellow cones, you could lose easily another 2 to 3. So that could total round about 50, maybe even 55 seconds of pit lane time if you're not careful. If you have not practiced pit lane times and run-ins and entries into pit lane, you could lose a lot of time. So for me, I wouldn't want to take 2 stops. I would literally run this out for as long as I can and see where I end up.
Well, we've got battles brewing at the moment. Hutchinson is now in front of Buson. We didn't really pick up on when Hutchinson got by Buson, but he's now into 2nd position, is the Scotsman. We're going to see what he did, and it looked like Buson just allowed him to go by. No fight whatsoever.
Yeah. It's kind of rolled over like a little pet poodle and got his belly tickled there, did Mike Buson. And he's now lost the position. I don't know if he's going to feels that he's slower than John. I'm not entirely sure, but John has opened up a little bit of a gap. Let's go to the next battle. VZ and McRichardson. VZ and Richardson. So I'm making love children now between McHutchinson and Richardson. Richardson's got VZ tucked in behind him. Paul Crabb's got James Coombs now on top of him. Gert-Jan Polman still got Taurus Vosberger in and around him, and then they've got a 1.6 second gap to Webb, Kostrick, and De Graaf. So that's going to play into hands a little bit. I would have thought Menno, being based off his quali, I thought he might have moved a little bit further up, but he kind of hasn't really gone anywhere for Menno De Graaf. So I am a little bit surprised on that one. But VZ and Richardson, however, are having a right proper little ding-dong here. And it's going to be interesting to see what pans out of this.
Well, Richardson's in front of VZ. As we saw a while ago, VZ was in front of Richardson. But now it looks like VZ is attempting to get back through. VZ with his old Ferrari look. And he is giving Richardson a run for his money at the present moment over 4th place. Further back, Polman has still got Vosberg for company. 0.2 is the margin between those two. VZ goes through on Richardson. They both slide going through turn number 6. But VZ has the upper hand that time around. And he is able to just go after Mike Buson, who's a little bit further up the road.
The question will be, although they're going to have to take fuel, what state are their tyre life going to be? What state is that going to be? That's the problem. Are they going to need to, or can the run into pit lane cool the tyres down enough where they don't have to take a set of tyres? Now, for me, Mellis, Matthews, Pratt, Newton, Kostrick, maybe look at taking tyres to give yourself a little bit of an edge. But you've also got to weigh up the warming process. How long is it going to take to get them warm? Can I make it work? Can we do this? There's a lot involved in having a pit stop, and it's not just driving into pit lane and getting fuel, as Coombs and Pratt. Well, for an Irishman, he didn't put out much fight, did he?
No. We've seen a lot of that already in this race. I don't know whether they're just thinking about pit stops, saying, oh, I'll just wait until so-and-so pits in or I pit in and then I'll be able to pass in that way. We're not seeing any genuine overtakes on circuit or backline. I mean, this may be a little bit closer, actually, between Kostric and De Graaf. Well, okay, I'll take. Oh, it's ended it with Kostrich spinning around there. I don't know whether that was wheel spin, and whether there was genuine contact between him and Mena de Graaf that time around. But it is de Graaf who's through into P11. Mellis has got through ahead of Graham Matthews. We're
they've had an incident together. Why. Yeah, they've had a crash together.
It's contact there between Mellis and Matthews. They both keep going as they are, but they have lost time.
Yeah, Mellis went and did a 4-point turn on the grass over there, bless him. When he probably could have just turned left. But yeah, they come together as well. Scotty Kostrick lost some places. Buson is now back in front of McHutchinson. What are they playing? Are they just playing rotational? John run off track. That'll allow Buson to go through on that one. So yeah, let us know in the YouTube chat if you are here and you are listening. You've got the access to be able to get your keyboard. I know some of you watch it on the TV where you can't type in the message thing. Some watch it on your phone where you can, or your PC, wherever you're looking at. Let us know, what would you do in a 60-minute race? A, you've got to take fuel, that's regardless, but B, would you change tyres? That's the fateful question here that some of these guys are going to have to contend with. So let us know what your strategy would be on fuel. Would you just go and run it to the end like me because I'm useless, or would you put some more thought into it and maybe make it last longer? But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Mellis has passed Matthews again. I think Matthews has let him go for the contact. I'm not entirely sure he needed to, but he did anyway. As we go into the first quarter of this race.
And they go through turn 7. De Graaf and Webb. De Graaf all over the tail of Webb. We know that De Graaf has got the pace, but he is just being meticulous in how he goes about going through on Webb, who is one of the most... Well, he works hard in races like this one. He really enjoys his racing when it comes to the radical SR8s, doesn't he?
Tom, you chose your words wisely. And I love the fact that you chose them wisely. Steve Webb tries hard. The thing with Webby is he will either, what I've seen from the F4s and what I've seen from the SR8s is he puts in maximum effort and sometimes ends up in people's incidents. Sometimes there was like the incident at Brands with Paul LeMay that caused a little bit of drama. There were some incidents in the F4s as well. It was kind of the same scenario as the Brands incident. I think that was the last time out at Summit Point. For me, Webby again is what I call, I don't know if you know the term maverick.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of one of them. Because you can either have an amazing race out of Steve Webb, or you have a shocking race and he don't really gel with the circuit. Or we just get like a mediocre Steve Webb, which is just basically plodding along. You know, don't get me wrong, the guy's of the upper age limit. I'm going to say he's 60. He'll probably DM me and he'll tell me, I am not 60, James. But I think he's about that. And, you know, he puts in a maximum amount of effort. It's just some circuit he's great, some circuit he's not, and some circuit he's just a little bit meh. So, you know, we'll see how Steve Webb gets on. Maybe we're all wrong and he'll go and win the AMS or something, but we'll see. Pullman's got Vosberg for company. I'm not entirely sure, being the nature of Taurus, whether or not I'd want to fight this one, to be honest. I'd probably more likely to let him go and just follow him.
Yeah, well, Pullman has allowed Vosberg to go on through, and now we have our pros in the top 8 and AMS in the bottom 8. So we have an idea as to where everyone is in the order, more or less. I'm going to go off to the outside of Steve Webb. Once again, Webb will hold the inside, but De Graaf, with so much traction on the exit, say out of Remus, if he can hold it out around the outside at Schlossgold, then he's got him this time around. You know, you mentioned the word maverick. Do you know what word I would have gone with? And it does begin with M. Marmite.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
do you know what? I thought you were going to say something else then. I thought you were going to say a word that rhymes with puppet. To be blatantly honest.
No.
And I was like, hold on, where's Tom? Where's Tom going with this? So there you go. You know what I mean? I thought he was going to go with like the M version of that word. Webby says he is 6. There you go. I told you he was old as well. So there we go. Steve Webb is 66 next month apparently. So up and running for him. But no, I do understand what you're saying. He is like Marmite. You either love him or you hate him. And some drivers can, you know, deal with things and deal with situations. And some people you just can't. And I don't know, for me, as much as, you know, Steve Webb's a really nice guy, and I met him at Goodwood, and we had a chin wag, and he sponsors my son's drag bike, and all of this other stuff, and you know, he probably might not sponsor it now, but after I've probably said all this. But, you know, he knows I love him, really. So, you know, what more can I ask for? Go Steve Webb. I'm your number one fan. Sitting third in hams at the moment.
Yeah.
I feel I might have got myself in that deep doo-doo we were talking about.
Yeah, okay. Well, what I was going to say is sometimes you have a good performance or a bad performance wherever you go. That's why I mentioned the word Marmite in there, where you love the performance, but you hate the performance. He is one of those. And that kind of aligns with what you were saying about Maverick. You know, sometimes you turn up and perform great, other times you just don't.
You know,
you just don't. You have a stink. You have a stinker. That's the best way to do it. First pit stop of the race. Jack Veazey is in from 4th place. He's going to try and do an undercut on the red line drivers as he comes round. Let's see how he came through the pit lane.
He was late. He was late over that line, and what has that done? How late were you? Oh, I wonder. He might have gotten away with that. He may have just got away with that one, because I can tell you that generally that might be an unsafe pit entry. So if he does get away with it, Jack Veazey, you are a lucky boy. Alex in YouTube chat, thanks for a sub, no dramas. Absolutely. There was 5 of them went out as well. Saab 25, Richard Price, Alex, I can't say your last name, Fortis, and Diego Lucas. So there we go. Enjoy your subs, boys and girls, maybe, I don't know, possibly, who knows. I try and read the stats every time off YouTube, and about 0.5% of the viewers is female, just to let you all know, and that's not me being sexist, that's literally what YouTube is telling me on a monthly basis. So we need more female watchers here, gentlemen.
Well, Veazey's time in the pits is showing it's 22.13. So I'd imagine he has not taken tyres.
No, again, he's got a 52-second pit lane time, which is what we roughly predicted at the beginning. So, yeah. Vosberg pulls in. Gert-Jan Porman carries on. So we're about 25 minutes. If they've managed to go and max out, they're going to hit the 30-minute mark. This is where the jiggles of the timing tower, shall we say, and that's a technical term, ladies and gentlemen, will start buzzing around a bit, because there's going to be a lot of flip-flopping going on in that timing tower. Now, this is going to be interesting. Gert-Jan Polman and Menno de Graaf is sitting on 2,538 IR for both of them. They're both on the same. This is going to be an absolute ding-dong here as well, because both of them are Dutch, so they're not going to go down without swinging. And I'm going to be interested to see how this one pans out, Tom, because this is for the lead of the AMS as well.
Well, here we go. De Graaf and Polman at Schlossgold. De Graaf happily waiting back in the case of Polman being a little bit far out wide at Schlossgold, but Polman has got through the corner rather nicely. And we're going into the 27-minute mark, so nearly halfway through. Vosberg's time in the pit lane is similar to what Veazey's is.
Yep. That's probably why you won't take 2 stops, because you're going to lose near enough a minute in the pit lane. It's just, you're bonkers if you try and do 2 stops. I think you're going to be really cutting your nose off to spite your face, to be honest with you. On board with Menno as we chase down Gert-Jan Polman here, leading of the AMS. This is going to be a battle I've waited for. This is why these two were in the same group together. There was talk of Menno going up to pros, because obviously he took last season's Championship, if I'm not wrong. And then obviously he didn't, because he was going to stay with Gert. Otherwise Gert was going to ride away with the AMS, and it was all flip-flopping. Poor old John McHutchison's Scottish brain couldn't cope, and there was steam coming out all over the place. So we put them in the same group in the end, and this is what we're going to get out of these two. We're going to get great Dutch fighting courage going on from the two of these as well. So Gert-Jan Polman and Menno de Graaf, keep an eye, because it's going to be a bit of a banger.
Well, Polman is in the lead in the AMS right now. You can just see Steve Webb in the background as well, just waiting for something to occur involving these. There's a change of leadership now in the pros because John Hudson has got by Luke Maxwell for the lead. We'll look exactly as to where he's managed to do it.
He did it himself.
Was it a spin over at turn 6?
Too hot, man. Too hot.
Yeah. The drift was all it needed for Hudson to go on through.
The problem is this free car battle. Now, what do we know about these free drivers?
Well, they like to dice it out, even if they are teammates.
Exactly.
That's the way I assess them.
That's it. So that's the thing. Matty Richardson's just got in pit lane as well. They are part of the team red line. There's no team championship here, so it's all for one and only. You know what? No, that's not right. There's all for one.
All for themselves.
Yeah, that's the word.
Themselves.
I knew it was something like that. All for themselves, and so there's no battling. Hence, Buson is just going to go and run side by side with Luke Maxwell.
Well, here we are with Maxwell, who's been passed by Buson on the way into Schlossgold. And that's enough for Buson to head on through. Maxwell's had an absolute nightmare of a lap or so, and he's now falling behind both Buson and Hudson. Richardson came in, and he's also done a similar time in the pits to what Veazey and Vosberg have done. Veazey is ahead of Richardson, just so that you know, and the gap between the pair of them is 3 seconds. So the fact that Veazey came in sooner, I think has helped him complete an undercut in a way on Richardson and has pulled away. So if I was Hudson, Buson or Maxwell, I would consider coming in. Well, Maxwell is, just as I speak.
Yeah, Maxwell's dived in. He's had a rotten time. And the interesting thing I want to look at here, does he get rid of them tyres, or is he just going to go fuel? I suspect it's just fuel. But I do want to have a look, just in case he goes and does something incredibly different.
Well, he is at the end of the pit lane because he's the one who started. It's not him on pole. He was second on the grid, wasn't he, Luke Maxwell? But either way, he's now in the box. We'll assess what his pit stop
not
time
tyres,
is.
It's just fuel that's holding him up 20 odd seconds. He's got to stop it soon, otherwise he's going to be, 22.87. Just fuel, no tyres then. So that's the situation for the 22 second pit stop. However, he has managed to clear Veazey and he's out in front by a good, I think it's going to be around about 4.5 to 5 seconds. What did I get out of that? Was I right or wrong? 3.5, 3.7. So there we go. That releases McCutcheon still in up there. James Coombs up 12 places currently, sitting in third overall. Great recovery from Coombs.
It is, but he is still due to make a pit stop at some stage. Whether it'll be this lap or the next one, we shall see. You mentioned that these cars can do something like 40 to 45 minutes on a full tank before they are due in. So I'll be interested to see how Hudson and Buson decide to go about their businesses at the moment, because if they start fighting amongst themselves, that's going to give the advantage back to Maxwell for when he completes an undercut on them. I mean, he's got Andy Pratt right in front of him, actually. He has Luke Maxwell, so he'll want to dispatch him sooner rather than later. But we'll see how he gets on. We'll compare the lap times and what Maxwell is doing compared to what Hudson and Buson are doing. But the difference is that Maxwell will be heavier on fuel compared to the top two.
Yeah, that's going to be his problem at the moment. These two are going to be lighter. Mike Buson and John McCutcheon, they are going to be lighter. So it's going to be interesting to see their lap times. You are correct on that one. I'm going to look forward to it. What I am also looking forward to is maybe this Irishman here might actually get some Irish spirit going and try and have a bit of a ding-dong with Coombs at the moment, because Coombs has gone past him and now is ahead of him. So for Paul Crabb, I'd like to see him just get his elbows out a little bit.
Although we see Paul Crabb chasing after James Coombs. Now, by the time the pit stops are done, we're probably going to be fighting over 6th and 7th. And we're looking at Mena de Graaf here. It's actually Gert-Jan Polman who runs wide at Schlossgold. And Mena de Graaf, after spinning around at the start, is now in the lead in the AMs. None of the AM drivers have made a pit stop in this race yet.
No, and I do wonder if that's because all the AM drivers, the cameraman gets run over there, poor little rascal. I'm wondering if all the AM drivers are just going to run that fuel tank out, because that's generally what I would do. That's me wonder there, Tom. I do wonder if that's what they do.
we'll see soon enough. I think you probably are right with that, because they're not exactly going at the same pace as what the leaders are doing anyway. So they can afford to go further if they wanted to, and then do it that way.
Yeah, they're about half a second slower than John McHutchison to Menno de Graaf. 24.45 for John last time out, 25.10 for Menno. So, yeah, give or take half a second, but obviously Menno did have to make an overtake, so it might be better if we have a look this lap.
And we'll see what Luke Maxwell is doing as well, because he'll be coming over the line in a moment. He's already got a 1:24.5 compared to the 1:24.4, which McHutchison's done, a 1:24.2 that Buson has done. So it's safe to say that the lap times are still rather similar involving those in the fight for the win. In case you want to know who's got the fastest lap of the race so far, it's Mike Buson. It was a 1:24.1 that he had posted. Maxwell. Welcome back. Apologies for the technical difficulties there. And we're now back to the action. And it's Justin who is leading the way ahead of Mike Buson, who has made a pit stop. John hasn't, apparently, unless the timing tower is telling me something different. We've got a replay to show you.
Hopefully.
Something.
I think James Coombs has jumped to pit lane, but I'm not entirely sure, because obviously it's the end of the... Unfortunately, everything restarted on that one, and we're still trying to work out what the problem is, so that's always nice. But yeah, what we got left? 20 minutes left of the race.
Yeah, and Maxwell's just moved in front of Buson, and Maxwell just wants to go a little bit further. We've seen that Maxwell came in for a pit stop, so what we've got on our timing page is not entirely accurate, which is a shame. I'd probably say John McHutchison and Mike Buson have made their stops now, because they're all close together, are the top three. VZ, we know, has made a pit stop, as has Richardson. I think more or less everyone has pitted, to be honest with you, JP.
Yeah, I think that's the thing now as well, unfortunately, due to that restart. If anybody has got any ideas on why only running iRacing does my computer just go black with OBS and my broadcast stuff, please let me know. Because I cannot work this out at all. It is driving me bonkers. Any other games, I can sit there for hours and not have a single issue. As soon as iRacing, as soon as SDK live timing and OBS run at the same time, my computer decides it wants to go black. So yeah, I'm open to ideas. DM me on Discord. If you're in the Discord, let me know, and see if you can come up with any ideas, because I have not got a blinking Scooby-Doo. So there we go. Right, after my indulgence of my technical issues, 20 minutes ago, McHutchison out by front by 2.4 seconds. Now, the fear of that is the fact that that's going to extend depending on what Buson and Maxwell are going to do. James Coombs has got a penalty, so I'm probably guessing that could be track limits and off tracks and incidents. So he's going to have a problem. And Andy Pratt is chasing down Scotty Kostrick.
I think for James Coons, it may well be for speeding in the pit lane. That would be my assumption. Well, he's coming back into the pit lane now, is Coons. So it should just be a drive-through, which he has to take, which will allow Scott Kostrich and Andy Pratt to move up the order. Unless Coons can get out rather quickly.
No.
Is it a stop and go, or is it a drive-through?
He's got to stop and hold, but basically what he should have done is should have turned off the tear-offs, turned off tyres, turned off fuel, turned off literally everything, and the stop and hold would be about 2 seconds. So, you know, hopefully that's what he's managed to do there. Scotty Kostrick has got his own little bits of hands full because he's got Andy Pratt climbing all over the back of him. Battle of the AMs.
Yep. There goes Andy Pratt through on Scott Kostrich. Andy Pratt coming into his zone in this race now. Coming through the field nicely. Gareth Matthews is the latest to fall foul. And it looks like James Coombs has decided to call it a night on the back of his misdemeanor. And unfortunately, that is game over. Gareth Matthews makes his way into the pit lane to serve his penalty. Hutchison's lead over Luke Maxwell is 2.5 seconds with 18 minutes remaining here at the Redbull Ring.
Yeah, that's the thing at the moment, is that there ain't long left whatsoever. And now we're going to find out how these guys are going to get on. What is Bousson and Maxwell going to do? Are they going to fight each other or are they not? That's going to be the question.
Well, they're making their way through back markers. That was Stefan Mellis that they've gone through. The next driver they'll be chasing to lap will be Gareth Newton, but he's like another 20 seconds up the road from these. So I don't think back markers will be an issue in this one. It's going to come down to fighting spirit involving the likes of Hudson, Maxwell and Bousson for the win. Veazy's too far back. He's like another 5 seconds off these. And Veazy, really, he's got no one to fight with. And neither has Matthew Richardson.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're just kind of driving around on their Todd, aren't they, at the moment? To be honest, there's like 5-second gaps between both of them. But that's the art of doing this kind of racing. It's going to happen at some point, and it's unfortunately happened to them too. Scotty Kostrick is now again still fighting with Andy Pratt. So I'm going to hopefully find out if how these guys get on, because it's going to be very, very interesting indeed.
They're fighting over 4th and 5th in the AMs, these two. Andy Pratt and Scott Kostrich. Heading down towards turn number 6, which is a downhill left-hander. And then it will be 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Now, we have seen track limits being given out to these already. We've had slowdowns of which drivers had to lift off the throttle just to get them off. And it's just as I predicted. We're not seeing battles on circuit. I mean, that's the problem with these cars when you have such a long event like this one. They're so quick, but they're that quick, a driver can just build up a gap and scamper off into the distance.
Yep, and say see you later. That's why, although these kind of events are great, because, you know, they sort of boost the points and stuff like that, it's still not, it's not great for viewing sometimes, and because you get the F1 moment where you're kind of at that lull, you know, where you sit back and you're just sort of like time to go to sleep. Generally after about the first 10 laps if you've eaten Sunday roast, not gonna lie. So yeah, I don't know. I see the idea of these race events. They put the drivers through the test and stuff like that. Do I really like them? No, short sprints all day for me, I'm afraid. Pratt's got to drive through. I'm probably guessing that's off the tracks.
Yeah, it will be. He went off the circuit at turn number 1, and I'd like to think that he had a number of track limit violations before that. So Andy Pratt will have to make his way into the pit lane to serve his penalty. Gareth Matthews had served his, but Andy Pratt will be in the pit lane within the next couple of laps to take that penalty. Otherwise, he'll end up being disqualified, which is not what you want, but it is what he has to do.
Yep, unfortunately, he ain't got a choice. And there he goes. In he goes. That's going to spread the field out even more, depending on where Pratt comes out. Let's get back to Bousson and battling, and Bousson and Maxwell, and find out what happens here with just under 15 minutes remaining.
Hudson's managing the gap, actually. He's not exactly pulling away from these. I think he's just happy to go at the pace that he's doing, because he knows that Maxwell and Bousson are going to be fighting amongst themselves, and usually you would see the driver ahead pull away, and and manage to pull out a gap. Hutchinson isn't doing that, and that's because he doesn't need to. He's not going to gain anything just by pulling out all assaults and trying to pull out a 10-second margin on these. You know, you're going to get the same number of points for finishing 2 seconds ahead of your rivals as you would be if you were finishing 10 to 15 seconds ahead. So there's no need for Hutchinson to pull out that kind of gap. Although, to be fair, this lap, Hutchinson has lost time.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. You've got to understand something, haven't you, about this is, what's the point? You know, if he goes and over pushes the car, like he did at Brands, I think it was, or Summit Point, wherever it was.
It was Brands. It was at Sterling Corner where he made that mistake.
Yeah, and he was out in front. And that's the problem. Why do that to yourself? Andy Pratt has got a meatball, and oh my dearie me, just come out of pit lane. Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa, that was...
To be fair, I nearly came out with an expletive there, the way he just went into the barrier like that.
I heard you, Tom. I did hear you. I think that might be an Australian rage.
I don't normally like seeing that, but...
in fact, I'm pretty sure that probably was an Australian rage. I'm going to go and do some hunting and see...
Well, I hope he's all right, and he'd have been livid by getting that penalty earlier, and he just felt like it was he just couldn't help it, but it's not what we want to be seeing in iRacing.
The thing is, I don't know if you've driven iRacing, Tom. We've all done it. We've all done it at some point in our iRacing. I'm not going to say career because it's not. It's a gaming simulator, and we've all gone and done that. I've done it. I'm pretty sure most people have, and yes, Andy Pratt just did it as well. So yeah, I think unfortunately for Andy Pratt, I've got a funny feeling he may have been a naughty boy on the exit. Oh, he was a naughty boy.
Went over the white line.
He went over the white line. So he had another penalty on top of the penalty that he's just got. So this is why he went and he just decided, right, I've had 2 penalties now. I've had enough. I'm going full bore Australian style. Leroy Jenkins into the wall. So,
I'm surprised he didn't go off into the abyss there, into the Styrian Mountains, if he could have helped it there.
Do you know what? If he probably would have done without a parachute, the way he was feeling, to be blatantly honest.
If the car did have a parachute, he'd have flown off into the Styrian Mountains and had dinner up there. That's what he would have done.
Absolutely.
With is it Schnitzel? Is it Schnitzel they serve in Austria? Am I thinking? Is that is that German?
Is it German? I thought it was German schnitzels.
I'm trying to think what is the Austrian cuisine. What's synonymous with Austria in terms of cuisine?
Give me a minute. Are you Austrian food? There you go. A wiener schnitzel. Apparently.
There you go.
Or a Tafelspitz. I don't even know what that is, but yeah, one of them.
Yeah. Well, it is one of those. Hutchinson is still ahead of Maxwell. Is beginning to pull out a gap now on Buson, so it feels like the gap is the same between Hutchinson and Maxwell as it is between Maxwell and Buson. You are seeing the top 3 in your picture. And there are no other battles, so this is the closest out of any of the battles on circuit that you are watching. With a little over 10 minutes remaining, we're on lap 35 of the event here. Hudson looks like he's on his way to another win. And extending his lead at the top of the championship. We've still got the round of Spa to be shown on the channel at some stage. As of when we can do it, I'm not 100% certain. But hopefully that will come around soon enough.
Yeah, to be fair, we are quite far in to the season, so we will see what we can do on that one. Unfortunately, we have day jobs, and it's a little bit of a mission trying to squeeze everything in. However, Graham Matthews has tried to squeeze in something going into Schlossgold, and it didn't quite work, and he's caused himself some drama. As Matthews, he's going to over-accelerate that car on the exit. There we go.
Yeah, and Mellis has picked up a penalty, presumably for track limits now. And I hope he does. By the time he comes into the pit lane and comes back out, I hope he doesn't do what Andy Pratt did. Having said that, if he does get a penalty, and then I can understand the rage side, because I've felt that way myself from even playing the F1 game cycle.
Yeah. The only thing I have been thinking about it is a new NASCAR game on Steam. I'm seeing a lot of mixed reviews. So if anybody's played it, let me know in YouTube chat, please, because I did think about having a go. I'm not entirely sure. I like the idea of the career mode more than anything else. I'm guessing you haven't seen that, Tom.
No, I haven't.
Are you a NASCAR fan?
I do like NASCAR. I mean, I think back to the days when I had NASCAR 06 Total Team Control on the PlayStation 2. That's as far as I played NASCAR. I did enjoy it back in the day.
Yeah, it's out on NASCAR 25. It's one of the same people that do iRacing. But, as I say, whether or not it's any good, I have no idea. Mixed reviews.
There's not long to go in this endurance event here in the Redbull SR8 Championship, round 5 of the series. After the Redbull Ring, if I could just get the schedule up at my end, I can just mention where we'll be going to after this one. We will be going to Belle Isle in 7 days' time, followed by Motorsports Park on the Grand Prix layout. Then it's off to Mugello, Hockenheim, and the historic Monza circuit for the finale, and you do not want to miss that.
No, that Monza Historic was a one-off that we thought would be fun, and now John has kind of used it for the flagship end-of-season race. Like most people put Interlagos, John's put Monza Historic at the end of every SR8 schedule because it does provide absolutely amazing racing, and the broadcasts are on there for last season. If you haven't watched one, go and watch it back, and you will see what they do at Monza Historic. It's absolutely bonkers.
And of course, there's many other circuits where I've seen the Radicals race at. I mean, Knockhill was an absolute belter, and I really enjoyed the Radicals racing at Knockhill. No more than John Hodgson, because obviously it's his local track, considering he is Scottish after all. But either way, I wouldn't mind a circuit like that coming back. I mean, we've raced at Interlagos in previous seasons, which is a good circuit for these. But I feel like there's a lot of other circuits out there that would be very well suited for these Radical SR8 cars, which will explain why we're going to some of these. I mean, Motorsports Park is an interesting one because of the undulation involved in it, and that notorious turn 2 that they end up going through. It's going to be very interesting to see how they handle it. Mellis comes into service penalty.
Yeah, I think that's the thing here. There's a couple of circuits that some of these drivers have. Why has McHutchison all of a sudden lost an absolute chunk of time? What are you playing at?
But he's not going to be saving on fuel, is he?
24.88, 24.5. What are you doing? Hold on. Maxwell was quicker 2 tenths last lap. Give me 5 lap count, please. 4 tenths, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, second. That's bizarre. McHutchison losing a chunk of time. And Maxwell sitting half a second behind with 6 minutes to go.
Well, it's not long for this one to go, but I just wonder whether Maxwell is fancying a go at Matt Hodgson at some stage. We've not got that many laps to go. I would probably say we've got 5 at most, depending on how quick they get round with these laps. There is a back marker which they will be coming up to. That will be Gareth Newton competing for the GPX Sinsport team, who has got Scott Kostrich a long way up the road from him. So they're just pretty much fighting on their own, really, trying to... Don't know whether they've got anything left to try and go for a fastest up or something for these, but it feels like we're past that stage where they are setting fast ups, because no one's taking tyres in their mandatory stops, and they're just happy to see this one out and hope for better luck at Belle Isle, where it could be an absolute curveball of an event compared to this.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. It's going to be absolutely bonkers. I think that's going to be the thing here. I think that's what we're looking forward to see once again. If you do want to get involved in any racing, guys, as well, please join the Discord below. We have just finished our F4s. We are putting a new F4 calendar. There is one provisionally out in YouTube, in the Discord as well. So if you are in the Discord, please check it out. We will be changing a couple of them tracks though, because we have been to some before. So we've got the likes of Donny, Long Beach, Interlagos, Road Atlanta, Summit Point, Cadwell Park, Mid-Ohio, Short and Phillip Islands. But the fact that we got to Donington, we might swap it out as well. There's a couple of other suggestions going on. So if you want to get yourselves involved, at the moment the F4s is a free league as well. That runs on a Wednesday night. So get yourself out, come along and have some F4 fun. Costing you absolutely nothing, basically, on that one. So yeah.
We saw Hudson run wide on the exit of the Jochen Ring curve, not the Jochen Ring curve, Niki Lauda curve, turn 1 if you want to call it that. And that's allowed Maxwell to close in even more on his rival for the title. They're not quite catching up to Gareth Newton yet, but they probably will do maybe on the last lap if they are quick enough in closing in on him. But as you can see that Hudson on his way to victory, Menedigoff, despite the drama he had been involved in at the start, has made his way back up to the top of the AMS ahead of Gert-Jan Polman and Steve Webb. I think I was going to say 3 more laps of this. And there is Maxwell, who want to push Hutchinson a little bit further just so they can get that extra lap. But they are coming up behind Gareth Newton now, who gets out of the way of these before Remus. Buson is also coming through. Newton's got plenty of hand over Stefan Mills, who had to serve that penalty. So Newton will just want this race to be over and done with. It knows that he can't go any further than where he is, and he can't lose any more time. Well, he can lose any more time if he wanted to, but what I'm saying is there's nothing to gain in front and there's nothing to lose behind.
No, absolutely not. He's basically just got to go for it. I would climb all over John. I would be like a baby monkey on his mother, literally trying to pick off fleas. Just go for him. Climb all over him. Don't even care if he's part of your team. Don't care if he's part of Radline. Give him as much grief as you possibly can, because you know full well he would do the same to you. He's Scottish. He would definitely do the same to you. So go and give him grief. That's what I would do.
Well, they are coming round now to begin what will be their penultimate lap of the race. We've just seen as they go over. Yeah, it's around about 1:27. They went over the line, and they've been setting times on nominate 24s and 25s. Having said that, we have seen in the past that iRacing can show out the checkered flag even with there being a few seconds to go before the time eclipsed. I didn't see it. Did you see a white flag from the marshal on the pit straight?
No,
JP?
but I'm also aware that it doesn't really mean anything, because as you say, iRacing can throw a curveball at us at times as well.
Well, let's see, but I doubt that Maxwell's going to do anything with Hudson on this lap. He's probably thinking there's one more lap to go after this, which is what he's lining him up for. In the case of that, Mena de Graaf is a long way clear over Gert-Jan Polman, so there's no contest in the AMS right now. It's these two of which we're staying in touch with to see if anything crops up in the final stages of this. Buson is not going to do anything about them. He's too far back. But is Hudson doing enough to hold on here as they come through turn 7 and 8? Maxwell is not closing in really, but he needs to stay in the draft just to have any form of hope. He needs to really, he's just got to put him under pressure just to get him to say, look, speed up, and I want to be coming after you on this last tour. Less than 10 seconds remaining. Out of the last corner they come. Is there going to be one more lap?
Yeah,
there is.
Yeah, just, I think. They got very close indeed.
One more lap to go then. Maxwell is still too far back at the moment. He needs a strong exit out of 1 and out of 3 to have any form of hope of snatching victory. Otherwise, it's Hutchinson's for good.
I think it's John's race. No offence, Luke. I don't think you're going to get quite close enough to be honest.
Oh dear, that was a
Well, there you
really
go.
poor exit out of 3. Yeah, there you go. So Hudson, that was probably the worst I've seen from him all race. And Maxwell, is he going to send an absolute dive into Schlossgold? Oh, he thought about it, but I just think Hudson had that one covered, even with that error, as he tried to get the power down, because we've seen other drivers make an absolute meal of it.
Go for it. Come on, Luke. Just do him. Get hold of him. Go. Just have him. I don't think he's going to.
Oh. No, I think he's out of time to do anything unless Hudson gets a slowdown out of the final corner, and we know how that can happen. We saw it in another championship, didn't we? At a Norwegian track, which I can't remember the name of. By the way, John Hudson exits the Red Bull Mobile for the last time. He leads Luke Maxwell over the line, and it's Hudson's day at the Redbull Ring ahead of Maxwell. Mike completes an all-red line podium, and it's Jack Veazey in 4th position ahead of Matthew Richardson, and Paul Crabb with Taras Vosberg next behind. Mena de Graaf, after his mishap at the beginning, has recovered very, very well to an AM victory, which will help his AM title hopes very much so. A long way clear over Gert-Jan Polman, and the man completing the AM podium, that is a Mr. Steve Webb.
Yeah, as they come over the line, there is Menno. Good job. Polman and Webb are not too far apart here. Polman goes over the line, and Steve Webb comes in behind him there. So great drive from them. That's your 1, 2, 3 in the podium. Scotty Kostrick's going to be in 4th.
Whatever happens, he will be 4th because Gareth Newton has finished a lap down. The likes of Mellis and Matthews as well. So just waiting for Kostrich to go over the line, and we can run down on the final race result. Here at the Red Bull Ring, located in Spielberg, Styria, Austria. And of course, home of the Austrian Grand Prix, and of course hosted the Styrian Grand Prix on a couple of occasions in 2020 and 2021. Let's have a look at the result then. It is John Hudson who comes out on top, albeit by a few tenths ahead. Oh, I say by a few tenths, it was less than 1 tenth over Luke Maxwell. Mike Boos on 3rd, Jack Veazey 4th ahead of Matthew Richardson, Paul Crabb and Taras Vosberg. Mena de Graaf is the winner in the AMs ahead of Gert-Jan Polman and Steve Webb. Scott Kostrich was 4th there, and Gareth Newton, Stefan Mellis and Gray Matthews were the rest of those to finish. The ones that didn't finish, they were Andy Pratt and James Coombs.
Yeah, fortunately for them. But overall, not a bad race.
Not bad at all. And we've got drivers waiting in the booth. We'll go in reverse podium order, because I'd imagine John Hudson may join in a little bit. Let's get a word with Mike Bousson, who has made it to 3rd place today. Mike, good evening.
Good evening.
How have you found that compared to the usual? I mean, what the question should be is, we've had the 2 race of each being 4 laps at the Nordschleife last season, and then in season 5 we had the endurance event at Le Mans. How would you compare today's format at the Red Bull Ring compared to those 2?
I would definitely prefer it. It's a bit more of a track that I enjoy. I was amazed not to get more off tracks. To be fair, it's normally quite an off-tracky track. But yeah, until the end, I started as just a few strategical cuts, but to no avail.
Of course, we've got Belle Isle in a week. I'm sure you've done Belle Isle before at some stage. It's going to be quite a curveball.
I feel like I've done it before, and I feel like I don't like it. Just got that ring about Belle Isle.
Yeah, I mean, it's not to everyone's taste, I suppose. Though it is quite a narrow track, and it's easy to snatch a rear brake and just go to the scene of an accident, and there's just not a lot you can do, I suppose. But as far as all the races we've done so far, I mean, we've done Willow Springs, we've done Summit Point, we've done Brands. How are you faring for the second half of the season?
Oh, you have to remind me what we got coming up, to be fair.
So we've got Belle Isle, Motorsports Park, Mugello, Hockenheim, and Monza Historic.
I'll go with average. I don't want to I'll get you all excited and go, yeah, I'm going to win them all. But there's a couple in there that motorsport's good for me. Monza Historic's always fun. Mugello, don't even know if I've done it before. I must have at some point, but we will see.
We will see indeed. Anyone on the show to Mike before we let you go?
Everyone in the league for such great racing, and to you lovely broadcasters.
We've been trying to find stuff to talk about because it's been one of those days where we just didn't really see a lot of battling on circuit. But thank you so much anyway, Mike. It's really appreciated.
I could bring up battling. We could talk about Iran, but I think we'd sort of get too
Mike,
Mike,
no.
You know I like a politics.
I know you do, Mike. I'm going to interject now because I've got to shut you up.
You've got to imagine the energy costs rising at the moment.
Yes, I know. And oil's going to go up through the roof and everything. But we need to have this discussion on a podcast, Mike, and not on my broadcast.
Yeah,
so I do love you, but...
Until I see the money...
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'll bring you some carrots over and through, all right? Is that enough for you?
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
Deal done.
Anyway, off you go, Mike Bousson. Adios.
That was Mike Bousson.
You've got to shut him up, Tom. He's like a little naughty puppy that every now and then he needs his leash yanked on him, otherwise he will rant for ages.
I know, and I've warned him before about the politics thing. So
mate, we do it every time I'm here. It's fine. It's leave him. I couldn't remember the day he gave a Trump a shout out. That went down like a ton of bricks. Anyway, let's bring in Luke Maxwell on that one. Back with John. Couldn't quite get there at the end.
Oh.
Hello,
Luke.
All right. Was there a question there? I might have popped in at the end of it.
Yeah, I think JP was just asking, although I'll probably ask it. How was the... Well, I mean, he was saying that you got close to Hutchinson there, but he was absolutely dying for you to just go for it on that last lap at Schlossgold.
I was in chat with him, and he said to me with about a lap to go, guess how many incident points I got? I said 16, the same as me.
So how many is it before you get a penalty?
17 was the drive-through. So it was the last.
Right, okay.
I was pushing really hard to catch up with him, and I did. But then I was on 15, and then just got another silly one. I thought I was trying to save 2 for the last lap, so at least I could, send it a bit. But just picked up a silly one and thought I can't really risk it now.
I'd love to see you send it on it, make contact, and both of you get penalties on the final lap.
would have been good for Mike, but not so good for John or Riley.
It would have been awesome. Yeah. So now we know why you didn't go and send it on him.
I was just literally it was the off track, but he was in the same boat, so it was a case of I just couldn't. I nearly got there at the end, wasn't it, on the last corner? I think he went wide a bit. I was hoping he'd pick up an off track, try and force the mistake. But it was tough. It was the spin that cost me, really. Being 3 seconds clear at that point, and not comfortable. I was pushing, but just a silly spin there, and that obviously cost me the time. I thought I might as well pit now and see, let the tyres cool off a bit and see if it helps. But I did get a little bit stuck. I think I lost about a second, really. So I would have come out behind John, but probably a bit closer. So, but he made a few mistakes, which is quite unusual for him, which gave me the ability to catch up again. So that's good. Hard work, though. Hard work.
Still a brilliant second place finish anyway, and good points in the bag. Considering it is an endurance event, there'll be more points given to you on the back of it. We've got Belle Isle. We return to the usual format of 3 races. I think I've seen you compete at Belle Isle in another championship involving a Radical SR8 Luke or something like that. I can't remember.
SR10 probably, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But how do you think you're going to get on at Belle Isle? Because Mike said that it's not his circuit. I can understand why. It is quite narrow, and it's easy to just get your braking wrong and miss the apex, and then just go to the scene of an accident. Is it your track?
I do like it. I've not driven there for quite a number of, probably a couple of years, really. So I think it depends how. I should be okay, hopefully. Yeah, I think there's a way around there, but the bumps can obviously unsettle you a lot, and you catch a curb wrong, and that'll be it. You're in the wall. So I think it's going to be a risk reward one, isn't it? Push hard to make up the time, but you're going to be risking danger and death. So I think it'll be one of those, really. I'm sure I'll do well in 1 or 2 of the races, but getting all 3 right is it's going to be a challenge.
Anyone want to shout to Luke before I let you go?
I'll give a shout out to you boys. Yeah, good commentary. I'll probably go and watch it back, now, and yeah, Saturday evening.
We were discussing about whether Schnitzel was Austrian or whether it was German. I was
It's
convinced it
Austrian,
was.
isn't it?
Yeah, I thought
No.
it was Austrian.
No. You're not.
Schnitzel, yeah, Austrian, surely.
No, it's a Wiener Schnitzel apparently. Luke, sorry, a Wiener Schnitzel is Austrian.
Is that the pork stuff, or is that the
pork?
the little pickled cabbage? What's that one?
It's veal or pork apparently.
Oh yeah. All right. Have you googled it?
Yeah, I have.
All right, it's German.
Mate,
We'll go with that.
I googled it.
I'll bow to Google's better wisdom.
Exactly. It brings me everything during the broadcast, Luke. Anyway, buddy, catch up with you at Belle Isle.
Yeah, have a good voice. Yeah, see you later.
Bye.
Thank you to Luke Maxwell for taking the time to speak to us and achieving that second place finish. And now we speak to the man who came out on top here and bagged some very, very strong points that will help him retain his title. John Hudson, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Tom. How are you doing?
We're not too bad, thank you.
Good.
I think I was asking the question to Mike earlier about how we compare this format to what we had at Nordschleife last season and what we had at Le Mans the season before that. How would you rate this one?
Yeah, I was just speaking to Mike about that as well. It's nice to have something different mid-season. It breaks it up a little bit, gives us all something different to look forward to, different challenge. A lot of guys maybe don't do endurance races which require pit stops and stuff, so it's a learning curve. I enjoyed it tonight. Thought it went well tonight.
I enjoyed it, but I think there is, I think there's another option out there, and to be honest with you, that we could try. I mean, I like the Nordschleife thing because it was a different challenge compared to a lot of the other circuits we went to, and of course, there's so many corners right there, and it's easy to get it wrong. But we return to the usual format at Belle Isle. I reckon it's going to be a very, very unpredictable one there, if you ask me.
Belle Isle, it'll be carnage because of the bumps and how close the walls are. One mistake and you're straight into a wall and you're done. So it'll be a challenge.
Yeah. And second half of the season, we've got another brilliant set of races to come, or circuits we're racing at. What are the chances of you retaining your title?
Nope. No, I'm not. The end of the season, not really looking forward to the next 3 or 4 races. So I think it could be up to Jack, Matthew, and look, maybe a dark horse Mike might have a chance as well. He's driving well just now. But the rest of the tracks don't suit me at all. So Monza, you never know. If I'm in the mix come the last race, we'll see what happens.
Anyone to shout out to before we let you go as well?
Just a shout out to all the guys in the league again, as usual. I don't know if a couple of my mates said they might be listening tonight, but shout out to them if they are.
Cool. Do you have a question you want to throw in there, JP, for
No,
John?
I'm good, man. He knows me. We talk enough as it is during the week. We don't need to talk more on an interview as well. John, catch up with you soon, buddy.
Thanks, James. Cheers, pal.
Take care, mate. Yeah, we
Thank
talk
you to
quite
our
a lot
race
during the week.
That's fair enough. That concludes our action for this evening. JP, your final thoughts on what you've seen?
Yeah, good racing. Not too sure on this one. I'm not a lover of this. I'd love to see a short 40-minute or something like that. I don't know. It's open to discussion. Some people do, some people don't. But yeah, we'll see how it happens.
Well, after that, it is John Hudson who steals another march towards retaining his Redbull SR8 title. Well done also to Mena de Graaf, winning out in the AMS ahead of Gert-Jan Polman and Steve Webb, and he'll hope to build on it at Belle Isle in 7 days' time. Thank you very much to everyone that's tuned in. Make sure you like and subscribe, and that way you won't miss a thing, including this particular series. And we'll do it all again next week. I am Tom Cairns with James Parfitt, and we'll speak to you again soon when the Redbull SR8 Championship returns, and it's good night.